tonight and on this chat we have Michael Hicks, the director of Eugene Vs Humanity, a fantastic film that we all really enjoyed and we can't wait for people to see. So Michael, how are you doing, my friend? How are you tonight?
I'm good. I'm kind of going cabin crazy, but other than that, I'm good. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the, obviously it's one of the first questions that I've kind of been asking is how you
Yeah.
getting on with the whole lockdown, the whole virus, and obviously you're over in the States, and
Mhm.
let's be honest, they're not doing too great.
We're not doing too great. But
But yourself, you're looking healthy, you're looking well. So how have you been
thank you.
keeping, and has it been at least getting the creative juices flowing?
It has a little bit. I've definitely had like an uptick in ideas since all I've been doing is sitting around. I've been definitely watching a lot more films than I have been. I keep track. I have a few friends that like to see what movies I have seen, so I just keep track of everything I've seen. And since March, when the lockdown in the States started, I've probably tripled what I've seen. And I'm already past last year altogether, and we're only in August. So, yeah, mainly been just watching a lot of new films and but writing. I have been writing a lot more, which has been great.
That's cool, man. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
It's one of the things I keep saying is, yeah, the situation's it's horrendous. It's not great, but it's kind of given us a bit of a chance to do things we kind of just didn't think we had time for.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess we've got plenty of time right now.
Definitely, absolutely.
Into Eugene versus Humanity in a little bit, a movie starring Colin James O'Gorman, who at the festival has been nominated for Best Actor. And the short movie itself has also been nominated for Best Short. So it's in there with some very stiff competition. There's some great films at the festival this year. So I just kind of wanted to get a little bit into the story with you, and where did it come from? What was the inspiration? And can you tell us a little bit about because I'm terrible at doing the blurbs, so I'm going to ask you to do it.
Yeah. So the story came from, and I'm sure a lot of people watching this can relate. It came from working in customer service for a very long time.
Oh, God, yeah.
Um, it's a lot of independent filmmakers, people don't realize, have full-time jobs, and filmmaking is just a very expensive hobby. I am in that camp. So when I was writing that, I was at a particularly bad job, which I've since left. Thank goodness. And I just found myself like just really frustrated with just the day to day, everything from small talk to just people like getting angry with me with things that are beyond my control.
Yeah.
And so I kind of used this story as an outlet for that frustration, and tried to make it add my own dark sense of humor to it a little bit. I intended it to be funnier than it is, but it's a lot better the way it ended up. But it was supposed to be almost slapstick dark comedy. I'm glad that everyone kind of talked me out of that, because it's a lot better the way it was. But yeah, it kind of just came from the frustration of a job that I particularly hated, and all of the annoying and rude customers I ran into. So
it does have a sense of, as you're watching it, like the guy who wrote this, as in yourself, has worked in retail for many years.
yeah,
It does smack of that, because obviously we've all had retail jobs and whatnot, and I can sense an overwhelming sort of, oh, I hate the job I currently have in this
yeah.
movie, and Colin O'Gorman just plays it wonderfully well, and I love how you're saying that it sort of was slapstick, because there is in your original sort of concept, because there is a very dry sense of dark humor underlying,
Yeah.
and us Brits, we love that.
Oh yeah. I actually one of my English teachers when I was in I don't know if you call it high school there, but we call it high school here, like year 11, I think it was. Um, she just like complimented my dry humor, so I kind of leaned into it after that. So. Oh yeah.
Let's be honest, us Brits, we know what we're doing. So
Yeah, you do. I mean, I grew up watching like Monty Python, and Mr. Bean and all that. Not that Mr. Bean's like super. I don't know if you'd call him dry, but I definitely grew up with you know, British influences, which I wouldn't have any other way. So.
well, let's get into that a little bit because for this movie in particular, for Eugene Vs Humanity, what were your sort of main influences that you picked up on, and apart from obviously your retail background, but like movie wise, directors wise, film wise,
Sure.
what were you kind of pulling from?
So a lot of my favorite American directors and my favorite directors overall are the Coen brothers.
Yeah.
So I feel like I don't know if it you know, shows through the film, but I like to think that I get a lot of influence from them, at least in my writing style, where especially when it's like a character in over their head, it's more just observing than you know, kind of, for lack of a better phrase, telling the character what to do, which I don't know how to explain that any better, but I've noticed that I kind of take that from the Coen brothers, where they just kind of let a scene happen as it goes, and let the comedy come out in the realistic awkwardness that there is. And Colin, who I actually grew up with, we've known each other since we were like 8 or 9. We grew up with a lot of the same pop culture and everything that we would watch. So you know, talking to him about the role, it was very easy to just reference something, and he was just like, "Got it." So I like to think the Coen brothers. I don't know. I mean, like, if I'm just gonna list directors, I like you know, Martin Scorsese, Tarantino, all the greats.
Yeah.
Like that. But I don't know if I knowingly take from them like I do the Coen brothers.
Colin James O'Gorman. I mean, obviously, it kind of feels like when you're watching this, that guy was legitimately just born to play this role.
Oh yeah,
They just from the word go, he is Eugene. There's no two ways about that. When you were writing it, and obviously you were friends with him from a very early age, was he absolutely at the forefront of your mind? Like, this is the guy that's going to play this role?
yeah. I wrote it shortly after he moved back. He moved to California. We're in Pennsylvania, just outside of Philadelphia, and he moved to California for like 2 years. So we didn't really make anything in that time, and then he came back. And right around the time he came back, I started writing Eugene Vs Humanity. So I kind of wrote it as a way for us to A, get to hang out, and B, to just make something together again. Because up until that point, it had been like 10 years since we actually made a film together. For, you know, life happens. That's just how it happens. But yeah, I absolutely wrote it with him in mind from the get-go.
And was it? I mean, I don't want to go too deep into anything, but was it easy for him to pick and to tap into that, and sort of like, once you'd explained the role, like as you said before, he was like, I get it, I've got it, I'm going there? Or was there a little bit of preparation on his part and a little bit of nudging on your part?
I think, I mean, Colin and I are probably more so Colin is like avoids conflict. Whereas like to a fault, I would probably, I don't want to say dive into conflict, but like I don't turn away from it. So with that in mind, I definitely wrote it where, with more so Colin in mind, where he knows his hands are tied, and you know, kind of just comes to the boiling point, which after knowing Colin for so long, I know he has a boiling point, like we all do. So it's just in our conversations with each other, you know, we talked for, I want to say like 6 months before we actually filmed about the character. You know, that was the majority of our text conversations for so long. It's weird. Like we're best friends, but we talk about work more than anything, which, I mean, it's just kind of who we are. We both love the art. He loves acting. I love filmmaking. So just us together really kind of makes a good team. And, yeah, just through our conversations, he kind of knew how to tap into that.
The next door neighbor, you know someone that is just like that, don't you?
Um, I don't know if I know someone like well, but I've definitely had run-ins with people where like they're just complaining about the
Yeah.
most tedious things. And I know like a dog barking can be annoying, but like it also can't be that bad where it makes you want to complain. Like, especially if you're not in an apartment. If you're in an apartment building, that's understandable. But when you have separate houses, it's like go in your basement, go in the other side of your house. You're going to be fine. So yeah, that I think that just came from watching a lot of YouTube videos of neighbors kind of going crazy. I don't know if I would say I know someone personally like that, but I've definitely seen people like that.
It's one of those things where just it's a small character. It's not a massive character, but he keeps popping up every now and then, and I'm just sitting there thinking, yeah, I've had that neighbor. I've had that neighbor,
Yeah.
and so's this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely I've known people who have had that neighbor, but I've been lucky enough where I haven't yet. I hope that I don't ever have a neighbor like that, but we'll see. Only time will tell.
What kind of challenges did you come up against to sort of maintain that sort of level that you were going for? That there's a little bit of tension in there. There's a little bit of, he's bubbling under the surface.
Mhm.
Was there any real challenges where it was like, you know what, we're maybe going a little bit too far this way or a little bit too far that way?
Um, I don't recall anything like that. As I said earlier, I kind of, for lack of a better word, wanted it to be lighter. And then the scene where Colin, as Eugene, follows that guy to his house and then comes back, and it's the second time you see his neighbor, and he just kind of snaps at the neighbor and yells, "Dogs bark, Clint." I had never intended the emotion of Eugene to go that high.
Yeah.
And then the second that Colin did that, I was just like, that's who the character is. This is a snapping point. Like I said, it's a lot better than what I had in mind. But it having those dark scenes, especially with the character Lucas, it kind of we had to have like a delicate balance of it where like I like to not. I like to trust my actors and let them decide what they need to get to where they need to be. So like there's a few times where for both Colin and Khalil, who plays Lucas, where we had to like clear the set, let him have a minute to kind of get into that mindset and then come back to it. It definitely worked out, but I don't think we ever felt we were going too far. There was definitely times, specifically with the last scene with Lucas. I don't know if people watching this have seen it, so I'm not going to get too much into detail.
No.
But my cameo as the YouTube tutorial guy, I wasn't sure if that was going too far, and I still kind of question if that was going too far sometimes. But I also had more people tell me that it lightens that scene just enough to make it, still terrible, but not heart-wrenching.
Plus, as well, you've got to have your Hitchcock moment. So
yeah, I gotta give my ego a little bit of a push there. So
there's a few really, really good, strong movies within this festival that I've thoroughly enjoyed, but kind of left me thinking at the end, you know what, I could do with seeing a feature length of this, or I could do with another hour of this, just show me a bit more. Is there any plans that you might expand on Eugene or bring us a feature length version of this story?
I actually, just before the pandemic hit the States, finished a feature-length version of the script.
Nice.
I had always intended it to be a feature-length, but I also know my budgetary limitations. So I figured if I could get like the first act done, which essentially the short is a bare bones first act of the feature. If I could get that done as like a proof of concept, it could really help kind of sell the feature a little bit more. So we don't have anything yet, but the feature's written. Colin is already on board if we can get it made, and it's just a matter of finding the resources to make it.
Oh man, I hope you get that going, because
Thanks.
I could do with seeing that, and Colin is like, again, I'll hold my hands up when I don't know who someone is. It's a face I hadn't seen on screen before, and he absolutely blew my socks off. And it was very easy when it came to shortlisting actors and all that to go into categories, and it was like, yeah, that is a given. He's in there.
Yeah, he's incredible. I'm lucky to have a friend as talented as he is. Makes my job a lot easier. So,
if you could quickly try and sell the movie and sell yourself a little bit and let people, and this is always the bit where the person on the other side goes, oh my god, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
But if
I'm in that boat.
Let people know where they can find you, find your work, and what they can look out for coming up in the future.
Sure. So my name is Michael Hicks, as we already stated. My credited name is Michael David Charles Hicks, which is my full name. It's a long name. So Eugene Vs Humanity, after you watch it at the Romford Film Festival, you can show your friends. It's on Amazon Prime, but see it at the Romford Film Festival first. You can, check out what I'm doing. I have a website, mdchicks.com. That's where I kind of update everything. We have a crowdfunding campaign for another short film coming up shortly after that. But yeah, check out Eugene Vs Humanity. I quite like it. It's the first thing that I've made that I haven't started hating yet. Yeah, I'm very proud of it. I mean, I'm proud of everything I make, but it's the one that I can, if people want to watch it with me, I don't hate it. So, yeah, it'll help you. I've had people tell me that it helps them kind of relieve stress a little bit. I don't know how, but
it's one of those things where when you get to slowly watch somebody else bubble away and just explode, it's kind of like, yeah, I don't feel so bad right now.
yeah. I guess that's it. But check it out.
No, definitely, and it's like we say, it is going to be at Romford. It is a physical festival, so that is awesome. But as the man says, you can also get it on Amazon, and that is amazing as well. It's cool. We see these streaming services picking up on these shorts as well, which is always I'm happy to see. But please do, if you're anywhere near Romford, please go and see the movie and check it out. Even if you're not there, just check it out.